Hey everyone, in this lesson we're going to take a look at the emulation panel. The emulation panel allows you to emulate various sensors, including screen orientation and size. And to get started, I want you to notice that I've moved the DevTools over to the right hand side, so it's docked to the right. And here's a little tip: instead of resizing the browser as a whole to test responsivity of your web page, how about docking the DevTools to the right and resizing that? As you can see here, I'm looking at the DevTools documentation page, and it's fairly responsive. Let's test the responsivity of a different page, the Google homepage. So I'll bring up the DevTools, and immediately we can see that I'm resizing the DevTools, and it's like the menu starts adjusting itself, but then it kind of gives up. But chances are you've never loaded the Google homepage on a device and it's looked like this, all cropped. Why could this be happening? Well, I think it's fair to say that they're doing some sort of user agent detection to serve a mobile optimized version of the page. And this is convenient for us since emulation allows us to emulate various devices. Let's emulate the Nexus 5. And as you can see here, it even gives you the settings that will be emulated. That's the viewport, the device pixel ratio, and the user agent. I'll hit emulate. Now whenever you do this, it's always safe to refresh the page. As you can see, emulation looks fairly successful. In fact, the Google homepage clearly thinks I'm on a device and it wants to access my location. What's quite nice about the emulation panel is even we have these predefined device sets, we can also emulate certain characteristics, for example the resolution. As you can see, that's happening in real time. If you have some media queries in CSS that targets a certain device pixel ratio, this is the place to emulate it. When using the emulation pane, you're not forced to pick a certain device preset. In fact, let's reset this. We can still emulate a certain user agent without the device as a whole. Let's set a custom user agent of hello. And note that if I query the navigator.userAgent property, that correctly returns as hello. Now let's check out sensors. Here I am on a page on HTML5 Rocks demoing the device orientation events. I'm going to reset by hitting reset here and go back to sensors. Interestingly enough, we also have the ability to control the accelerometer, and that's what this page is reacting to. You get this nice 3D view and you can control it like this. And this kind of saves us the hassle of having to open up the page on a device and physically move the device around. Let's look at the ability to emulate a touchscreen. Here I am on a page, which tells me what click or touch events it's detecting on this button. So I'll refresh the page, and if I hover over it, I get lots of mouse move events. I'll click it, and let's just check that occurred. Yep, so we got a click event and mouse moves, mouse outs. Okay, makes sense. But now let's emulate touch events and see what happens. I will reset, go back to sensors, emulate touchscreen, and refresh the page just to be safe. And immediately you'll notice that the mouse icon has changed into a little touch icon. Now if I move over the button, we don't get mouse move events. Let me click. Now what's interesting is the events that you would typically expect to be fired on the device are in fact happening here because we've emulated the touchscreen, so this is quite useful. One point I would like to make is the emulation panel isn't a complete substitute for actual device testing. Remember, if a device has an incorrect implementation of a certain CSS layout mode, for example like Flexbox, you're not going to catch that here, but you will catch that on the device, so it's always worth testing on the device in addition to this. That being said, the emulation pane can certainly help your development workflow. See you later.